Welcome back. If you're just joining us, it is still Daybreak Africa, where we give you information just the way you like it. Today on the show, we shall be taking a look at a very important health issue. It is important indeed because we're talking about healthy living, lifestyle changes, and benefit to health or wellness, as it were. Now, if you ask 1,000 people their definition about healthy living, they would give you 1,000 definition because everyone has their own ways of keeping healthy. Healthy or being healthy or wellness goes beyond staying alive longer than expected. It goes beyond that to making sure you avoid diseases, making sure you're up to date with what happens in the environment, and making sure that you are happy. Talking about mental health. We have a guest today who will be speaking to us via Skype to push the discussion further. She is Regina Mary Alexis. She is a personal development enthusiast. It's so nice to have you on Daybreak Africa today.
Good morning, Regina. Welcome on Daybreak Africa.
Yes. I want to start by asking, before we go deep into our discourse this morning, to let us understand what a personal development enthusiast does. What does it mean, especially in relation to health matters?
All right. A personal development enthusiast. I would just say is a normal person because everyone, of course, are looking forward to a good well-being. So if you want to attain a goal in life, you must be enthusiastic about it. So personal development is what everyone's looking forward to, and that should be a common thing. To do that, there are lots of practices you have to put in place because to reach your goal, you must practice. So, developing yourself, you have to cultivate a healthy habit to get to that goal. So, as a personal development enthusiast, it's just all about practicing healthy habits that will lead you to reaching your goal.
Now, when we talk about healthy living, we're talking about healthy diet and exercise, healthy sleep routine, healthy relationships, work-life balance, good time management, stress management, amongst many others. But for me, I mean, like Anire initially said, we talk a little about healthy diets. You know, so what's your take? What's your take on healthy diets? You know, when it comes to healthy diet, we all have different definitions as to what healthy diet is. For you, what do you think is healthy diet?
Okay, healthy diet of an individual because our systems are different. It first of all knowing how my knowing how I react to certain things I take in, knowing how I react to different kinds of foods, because the food that could be good for your system may not be good for mine. So for someone who is concerned about his or her diet has to first of all observe his or herself. What is good for me? What is not good for me? And then taking in to your system.
To add to what you just said and the question that Ezekiel asked you, I did put something down here talking about diets. We advise to eat vegetables and take lots of fruits. Studies suggest consuming more veggies and fruit is associated with lower risk of heart disease, lower risk of stroke, lower risk of cancer, and of course, premature death. Can you tell us more about the benefits we get from eating a diet full of vegetables and fruits?
Of course, we can't even have enough vegetables and fruits. They are very, very essential for one's well-being. And one of those importance is to maintain the blood level. Now, we know that there are different kinds of food circulating our society, And unfortunately, vegetables and fruits are not one of those that are as much as other kinds of foods. So taking time to consume vegetable and fruits, I mean, it's not even enough, because before you can have access to that, you must have consumed more of the carbs, more of what is not necessary. So what vegetables and fruits would do, one of the things it would do is maintaining blood level, because some foods are high in sugar and carbohydrates. So taking vegetables and fruits would help to maintain the blood level, being that you might have taken a lot of food that are high in sugar and carbohydrates.
But in situation where fruits and vegetables are as expensive as the most expensive foods in the market, it's gone are the days where you can actually get vegetables and fruits at cheaper rates, or days where we have them planted in our compound. I grew up in a house that was like a farmyard. We had vegetables, we had fruits, pawpaw, soursop, oranges, mangoes growing in the compound, but we don't have such because of lifestyle and of course what people will call development in quote. So how do you break that barrier of the money's worth for people if you advise them to take lots of fruits and vegetables when they can't even afford it?
That's very interesting, because that's what I was discussing with some people some days ago. It's really sad that we can't grow as much as we need to in our yards. But the thing is, who is causing that? There are a lot of things responsible for that. But who is directly responsible for not taking care of yourself? It's you, it's the self. I wanted to purchase some fruits some days ago in the market, and it was quite on the high side. Guess what? I decided to plant. And that was pepper. Okay, I think that was pepper. I decided to plant. So I just brought some stuff, some containers, and started planting my peppers because I really wanted to plant. So the thing is, if you really want to do it, if you really are concerned about your health, you would come to that place of looking for ways to do it. Because of course, I wouldn't even say, oh, you have to buy this and that. It's costly, it's on the high side, accepted. But what can you do if you're really concerned about yourself? What can you do to mitigate that situation? You have to get your hands on the ground and start making something out for yourself. So I think it's very necessary that Nigerians learn that habit of cultivating his fruits and vegetables.
Away from the real thing, what about supplements? I heard people talk about supplements. People speak for, some people speak against these supplements. Some people say it's probably should be used not often or as always. What is your take as to taking supplements instead of the vegetables and fruits?
I've watched people take supplements. I've seen people who have been on supplements for a while, and seeing them later, they are not the same people, because these things have like effects in our lives, in the body. It is a supplement. It is a supplement. It is not food. So taking supplement as food does not tally at all. That's why it's called supplement. So people kind of depend on it like food, which is where the problem is. If you're taking supplement as it is a supplement, I don't think there is any harm. There's any harm to that, because the quantity that you would take will be washed, right? But the problem is where people misuse it. Is where people don't actually check what they are taking. They take it too much, they misuse it, they overuse it. That's where the issue comes in. You will see them, they could just bloom, the body gets fat and all of those things. But check them out in the next 6 months or thereabouts, where they've actually stopped taking the supplement. They are dried up and they are a different person, which is not healthy at all.
Shies away from taking supplements. Sometimes I think, going by my age, that I'm probably doing the wrong thing. But try as I've done everything to like go into I actually had a friend who sent me a pack of it all the way from the United States. I just gave it all out because personally, I'm not speaking for everybody, I'm one person who shy away from artificial stuff, and I would rather go for fresh fruits and get the food real than a supplement. Now, moving forward, now there's another thing. The journey towards a healthy living and lifestyle begins with goals, and there's something called the SMART goal when it comes to healthy living. And the acronym for SMART, as it were, I discovered while researching, is that SMART stands for specific, it stands for measurable, it stands for attainable, it stands for relevant, and of course time-bound goals. Now, talking about healthy living and wellness, how do we put in all of this? Could you explain for us what specifics means in terms of SMART or setting SMART goals for that dream that you have when it comes to living healthy?
Okay, yes. That's a smart thing to do. Setting a SMART goal is actually a smart thing to do. Talking about specific goal, one who has come to the consciousness of a healthy living has to first of all be an observer of his or her life. Like, what do I really want? Not what else has the society portrayed for me. What does my body really want? You know, the society could say ladies should get lean and all of this, but that is not what your system wants. So if you really want to give yourself that healthy living, you have to specifically check yourself and know what it is that your body really needs. And when you find that out, you are not just going to generalize the whole thing. Someone could want to set a goal like, okay, I want to be lean by the end of the month. I don't think that is a smart goal. A smarter goal would be, I want to reduce this part of my body by the end of the month. You know, going down, niching it down to a particular thing that you want to do. Or I want to work out this number of times, you know, for this month. That is smarter than generalizing the whole thing. It will take you, if you generalize, it may be so ambiguous that you miss out on the way. So you have to reduce it down to the specific thing you really want to do every day that will lead you to that well-being.
Now, when it comes to the issue of exercise, basically, I think for the man, we believe when he hits the gym, you really have to sweat it all out profusely. Now, is there really need for you to really sweat in gym, or you could really just do the usual, you know, walking and, you know, hopping around, just maybe for 5 or 10 minutes? Which do you think is preferable or better off?
Like I said, depends on what you need, you know. Everybody's system is not the same. Everybody don't need the same thing. It's really hard to generalize that it's better to carry the heavy dumbbells or it's better to just do the stretching. So it depends on what the system needs. There could be someone who has to add some weights, you know, who has to build some muscles. There could be someone who even needs to tone it down. So it all boils down to what you need, to what your body needs. When you realize that, you know what to go for. The gym is not a bad place. It's just that wrong people go there. There are some wrong people for the gym. There's someone who doesn't need to be in the gym, but is in the gym because the person has really not sat to observe his or herself to know what he or she really needs, you know.
So what are those caliber of wrong persons in the gym?
Right, I really would not be able to say specifically, because let's even delve down again. There could be someone, okay, now it'd be so wrong for me to say one who is lean is not supposed to be in the gym. No.
Okay, I understand what you're trying to say. So I'm just like taking you back into the SMART goals, and of course using exercising as a template. Now, apart from specific, the next is the M, which is measurable. What advice do you have in terms of measurable for people who decide to use exercise route towards wellness? how do you advise them? You've told us about being specific about our goals, setting them, and not pegging it within a time frame, as it were. Like, I want to get thin in the next 2 months. I want to go from 300 pounds to 100 pounds in the next 2 weeks. So in terms of measurable, what advice would you give?
Okay, measurable further brings it down. You know, it further brings it down after being specific with your goal. Okay, let's take for instance the exercise that we are talking about. Someone wants to lose 100 pounds, right? Now you can't just say, I want to lose 100 pounds and that's it. No, how do you want to do it? How would you know that you are getting there? How would you know you are in the middle? How would you know that you are barely even beginning? You know, so, you know, breaking it down you can actually measure is what we are talking about here. Let's say you know that push up or just jogging every day will get you to 100 pounds in a month. Okay. Or apart from jogging, you know, cycling could get you to losing 100 pounds in a month. So you should rather, after saying you want to lose 100 pounds in a month, you have to bring it down to, this is what I would do to reduce that 100 pounds in a month. I will cycle, I will ride on a bicycle for, you know, 3 times in a week. And you know that that's going to lead you to your goal. So further breaking down your goal is the measurable that we are talking about here, is how you can measure your goal, further breaking it down to the specific things that you really want to do is what will lead you to measuring your goals. Because if you are supposed to jog 3 times in a week and you have missed jogging twice, just know that you are not close to your goal at all. You know, that's when you'll be able to know that you are still far from your goal and you have to, close the gap.
Well, the thing is, we can talk about healthy diet, exercise. We are talking a little about a healthy sleep routine. So when it comes to sleeping routine, we have just so much to talk about. People believe in 8 hours sleep. Some believe you only sleep when you get the job done. Some believe maybe probably not less than 4 hours for an adult and all that. What's your take as to as regarding a sleep routine?
Yeah, sleep routine. Oh my God, we can't even emphasize the importance of sleep in a person's life. You know, what people need energy, what people take some supplements to gain energy is what sleep can actually do for them. So sleep is as important. But I know, like I have read that it is necessary for an adult to have about 6 hours sleep, about 6 hours sleep in a day. But this is an age where everyone is grinding, where everyone is hustling, where everyone wants to make it, So sleeping 6 hours in a day will actually cost you a lot of time being on the bed while everyone else there is going out to do something. But it's not a thing to compare yourself with another person, but knowing that this is what could work for you. I mean, I could be a night person, which means I could be very active at night, or I could be a day person, which means I'm more active in the day. That will lead me to knowing where, when, and how long to sleep. I mean, checking myself, I can know what to do for myself. If I know that I'm doing this particular kind of work, I could take sleep, like maybe 4 hours in a day, maybe 5 hours in a day, or maybe 3 hours, get back to work and get back to sleep. It's all depending on what is working for you. That is why it is very, very important that as an adult who is conscious about healthy living, you observe your life. You observe what is going on in your system. If I sleep for 5 hours, how do I react? How do I live? How do I go about the day? How about if I sleep for 4 hours? Do I act okay? So when you observe your life, how things are working out for you, you will be able to know this is what's actually working for me, instead of just going to accessing the norm that is generalized. Because this system, the body system, is never the same. But the general rule of thumb is that 6 hours a day for an adult is normal. But I think as an adult who is conscious about oneself, you can, know how to shift.
Well, so next thing, make it sound as if there is no really a laid down standard or principle for this. It's more like you do what works for you at all times. Is that correct?
Exactly. That is where I'm headed.
Okay.
I have so much love to know what is actually right and what is wrong, because I hate to be sick. That is just a fact. I just hate to lay on my bed sick. So I am always looking at for what is that thing that I could do so that I could be active all the time. And in all my research and all of those things, I've found out that the best thing, this is a suggestion. This is not a laid down rule that you must not follow a rule, right? It is just a thing that I have done as an enthusiast, right? So I've actually found out that it all comes back to me observing my personal life and doing what I know is good for me.
Now, talking about sleep, I personally, if we're talking about personal effects from sleep, I notice that if I do not sleep early, probably I stay up pretty late. When I wake up in the morning, I usually have headaches and I'm always fatigued. That's one thing I notice. So what I do is I have a sleep timetable, and no matter what I'm doing, I try as much as possible to stick to it so I can wake up fresh and strong. But the Gen Z generation, with our telephones, with their telephones as it were, they do not sleep. For that reason, in my house, I have a curfew for telephones. I actually collect all the phones and I keep them so they can go to sleep. Research has told us that the brain can begin to die from lack of sleep. Research also told us that we are required to have 8 hours sleep maximum or minimum. Now, again, researchers came up to say, you know what? 8 hours is not the minimum. If you do 6 hours, is also okay. I would really want you to harp on how important sleep is to wellness, especially for the Gen Z generation.
All right. Sleep, like I said, is not even a thing that someone has to be taught into doing. And there's one beautiful thing about sleep. It comes when it is needed, when the body needs it. Why does it happen that way? It's because when your body needs this thing and you don't give it, you may stand a chance of collapse, like just falling away, right? Now, when sleep comes, there are people who are lucky enough that when their body needs sleep, they actually feel sleepy, and then now they go to bed. But there are this set of people that their body needs sleep, but they do not feel sleepy. I mean, I was one of those because I was working on my computer a lot, and I realized that I would actually not feel sleepy in a day until I just forced myself to sleep. So I used to do that, knowing that I need sleep, I would just give myself a particular time. I would say from 10 o'clock and I'm going to work on my phone, on my computer again. When I feel sleepy or not, I will just go to bed. Because I knew that was very important.
Let's take a look at stress. That is one.
Sleep,
okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I said let's take a look at stress because of time. Now, a lot of people do not know that stress comes with a lot of symptoms. I was shocked to discover that stress can actually cause stomach upset. Stress. Now, apart from stomach upset, it could lead to heart disease, diabetes, it could lead to high blood pressure, anxiety, even difficulty in sleeping. Stress can actually lead to that. Can you tell us how stress affects wellness beyond these symptoms that I've already mentioned?
Okay, being that wellness is a state of being happy, right, and healthy and prosperous, that is growing, how would one be happy when you feel stressed? You can't actually do that. Your welfare will not be in check when you feel stressed. And it will tell you, your body, it will show in your body, it will show in your brain, the way you reason and all of those, it will show. So what stress does is that sometimes it doesn't just come up, it doesn't alert you early until when you are totally broken. Until when you are totally broken, and that is the worst thing that can happen to anyone. So when you are broken, you will notice a decline in your health, and you have to start treating a lot of things that could have been avoided. So what one the limits that you can exceed, you better stop right there and not wait for your body to inflate. When you know the limits that you do not have to exceed, you stop right there before the stress will tell you itself. Because it's not always funny. A lot of people have died from stress and all of those, their life stress. So just imagine standing the risk of losing your life when your body has to tell you, calm down, instead of you calming down yourself without your body having to say. So that's
okay. Still talking about stress, there's one that I didn't mention, one of the causes of stress, which is depression. A lot of people shy away from it. People don't talk about depression. They see it as a terrain that is forbidden, as it were. And we know that depression is one of the fly off from anxiety and, of course, stress. What do you have to say about depression in people, as we're talking about wellness and healthy living, things that they can do to avoid, you know, going into depression? And of course, if they find themselves there, what can they do to like help themselves?
okay. People who are depressed actually look happier when you see them. They could look happier than you are, you who is not depressed, seriously. And the reason why that is that they are fighting inside to be better. So they overdo it, and what the outside will show is that they are happy people, meanwhile they are not. Now, what causes this depression is different. It's different for different people, and stress could be one of the reasons. Now, when someone is depressed, the person does not even stand a chance of enjoying anything in life. I have seen someone who has had it all in life, has the money, the food, everything, good relationships, working and everything, but he still commits suicide. You know, we hear of people who have made it to, you know, the apogee of life, but they still commit suicide because they were depressed. So when you are depressed, you are not happy. There is no how depression and happiness tally. You are not happy no matter how you show that you are happy. So knowing that depression could cause your happiness, what one actually has to do is to check it in its early stage. Because there could be a time in one's life that depression is like you cannot just overlook it. You can't just do without it. There's a time in one's life, maybe a student, maybe during examination, when the pressure is too much, you just run into depression. So even a normal person should check his or herself every time without even being depressed. Even though you are not depressed, you should check yourself when you are going through pressure, because that pressure could lead to depression when you are not aware. So before the depression comes, it is good to check it when there is pressure, so that dealing with it there. No.
Okay.
Now, adopting or changing a lifestyle most often tends to pose a challenge to so many persons. I tend to wonder, what are the advisable baby steps to, you know, take in order to actually change a habit or a particular lifestyle?
Okay, steps to changing a habit. So that just reminds me of a book being Tiny Habits by Ezekiel Forge. Tiny Habits. The little changes that changes everything. When I read that book about habits, it simplified everything for me. And I'm not just telling because I read from the book, I'm telling this from experience. When one wants to change a lifestyle, it could be very difficult, because lifestyle is something that one has practiced over a particular time, over the years and all of those. So it's very difficult to change a habit. But what simplifies it is breaking a habit down. Breaking a goal down, rather, breaking your goal down. Whatever habits you want, you already defined habits that you will be able to do. Just for instance, someone who has not been physically active now and wants to begin to be physically active, just to the gym and use all the instruments at the gym. You will be exhausted before you can finally do that. But you could say, I will start jogging. From jogging a mile every day, and the next time you increase it until you are able to reach a habit, until it becomes part of you. If you don't, you'll be stressed. Your mind will be stressed because your mind is not used to that habit. So if you want to cultivate a habit, you just have to break it down. And by the way, you can't just throw away a habit. You have to replace it. Habit replacement is what is usually done. If you want to change a habit, you don't just say, for instance, if you were smoking, you wouldn't just say, I want to stop smoking. No. When situations that made you smoke would come, your day will be empty. That moment will be empty. You have to replace that habit with something else. So it would be better to say, instead of smoking, I will be drinking water, right? I will be drinking water. And when you have that impulse to smoke, you know that, oh, it's time to drink water. And you actually take water. That will make it easier. Instead of just saying, I'm not doing this again, you rather say, I'm doing this instead of this. So that will work better and faster.
Okay, I want to ask, are there drawbacks to healthy living? Are there any drawbacks to healthy living? Are there any drawbacks to lifestyle changes? Because where you have the pros and the cons, people will always tell you or give you reasons why they don't want to do certain things or why they can't do certain things. So I'm asking, are there ever drawbacks for healthy living or lifestyle changes?
Okay, like the Proverbs which says, too much of everything is a disease, right? But what I want to say is that if something is too much, that thing is not even healthy in the first place. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
So if something is too much, to a point that it could cause a drawback, that means it is not healthy. So there's nothing that could be healthy that would have a drawback. If it has a drawback, that means you had passed the limit. It's supposed. It's okay. It's just like saying food is good for the body, right? But food is for the body. If you overtake it, if you take the wrong food. So food is not bad on its own. A good habit is not bad. But when you do it wrongly and you overdo it, that is when it becomes toxic.
I think you want to ask at this point, is there a relationship between habit and temperament? Because many believe the temperament tends to affect their habit, be it eating habit or work life even.
Of course, one affects the other. Temperament affects habits a lot. Because temperament is just the way we are wired, if I could just say that. It is the way we are wired to do things, though it is subject to change. It is very much subject to change. Let's say someone who is melancholic is quite prone to anger, right? So that means he or she is quite prone to impatience. So impatience actually could be a habit, and that will stem from temperament, right? So if you want to change your habits, it will boil down to looking down to yourself and changing your temperament. Habits changes everything in a person's life. Just changes a person totally.
I see. Now we tend to talk around stress management, a healthy diet and exercise, sleep routine. Why don't we talk a little about a healthy relationship? I believe you're also a relationship expert.
Now, adding to what Ezekiel just said, adding to what Ezekiel said, while researching, I found out that healthy friendships are necessary for healthy living. And a lot of people won't believe this. So collectively, we want you to let us understand if what we found is real or true, that there is a correlation between healthy relationship or friendship to healthy living and wellness.
Of course, the prophet that says, show me your friends, and then tell you who you are. It's not a cliche at all. Who you work with would affect what you do very well. If your friend is, if the person you are in a relationship with if the person has anger issues, I mean, you would think that it's okay that that is not you, but if you keep on being with that person, the more you interrogate and share stuff with that person, you would realize that you are taking like a fragment of that person's behavior or attitude. And if you are heading towards a goal that is not in that person can't actually help you to achieve your goal. Right? So if you actually want to build a healthy habit, the person you walk around with is as important as the goal you want to achieve, because that person is going to influence you.
And it's just that bad company corrupts good manners.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, still talking about goals, in the course of this discourse, tell us what or how time plays in this journey of wellness and healthy living. What is the place of time? What advice do you have for someone who is watching or probably lying down and just listening to you talk on TV, the place of time in the journey of wellness?
Okay. Time binds us, actually. Time tells everything about us. Time defines season and everything. But one thing I always encourage people and encourage myself about time is that you shouldn't be so conscious of time, because time can put pressure on you. Not to be sincere, if you are trying to cultivate a habit, you should know that you had cultivated this. Sorry, if you're trying to break out from a habit, you should know that you took an ample of time, quite a long time, to form this habit. Let's say you do something in a particular way and you are 20 and you want to break out from that. You took 20 years to practice that habit, to cultivate that habit. So probably if all things being equal, you would need another 20 years to break out, right? But that's not always the case. So you have to be gentle with yourself and know that the goal is not in time. The goal is to change. So while time is very important, time could just help you to segment yourself. I want to do this within this period. I want to do this and that. But if you cannot, remember the goal is to achieve that habit and not about the time. The time only helps you to segment the habit. So you keep time on its own lane and keep the habit on its own lane, and then try to marry them together without letting one affect the other or affect you. Just eyes on the goal.
We want to thank you so much for being on the show. If you're just joining us, you've missed everything we've said today, but you have an opportunity to hook up on YouTube to see the topic today, which is healthy living, lifestyle changes, benefits to wellness. Our guest has been so fantastic. Her name is Regina Mary Alexis. She is a personal development enthusiast. Mary, we appreciate you.
I appreciate it too. Thank you very much, Mr. Ezekiel. Thank you.
Nice that for me, it's the first time I heard not to be too conscious of time. All my life, I've always lived to be conscious of my time. But of course, we tend to actually encounter healthy advice every day, every now and then. Now, you do have a wonderful day ahead as we come to close from Daybreak Africa. I remain Ezekiel Ogar.
I am Anire Binitie. Stay healthy. Bye for now.